Still tape brought to you by Locked In Hydrogen Water. As I mentioned, Julia Budd, 39 years of age, making her 7 years older than Martina Jindrová. Both of these women standing 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighing 146 pounds. Reach advantage on both arms and legs, favoring the Canadian Julia Budd. Andy Shepard, take it away.
The following is a women's featherweight contest in the PFL regular season. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. She is a kickboxing specialist and stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in officially at 146 pounds and has amassed a professional record of 6 wins and 4 losses. Fighting out of Prague, Czech Republic, Martina Jindrová. And her opponent, fighting out of the red corner. She is a mixed martial arts specialist and stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. She weighed in officially at 145.5 pounds. In 22 professional fights, has amassed a record of 16 victories and 6 defeats. Fighting out of Port Moody, British Columbia, Canada, the Julia Budd. Your referee in charge, Blake Grice.
Blake Grice equipped with the ref cam. The favorite Julia Budd in the purple, the underdog Martina Jindrová in the gray.
You ready?
0 points for both of these women. It's win or go home. Julia Budd promised she'll be aggressive from the get-go. Martina Jindrová is going to need to be to try and earn a finish as well. Neither woman can clinch in this fight, but to keep the hopes alive, obviously win first, try to get the finish.
That was a nice heavy leg kick there by Budd. Jindrová showing a lot of movement, a lot of feints.
Another leg kick from Budd as Jindrová tries to come in.
I'm surprised that Budd hasn't tried to take this fight right to the ground.
We saw Jindrová in her warm-up in the back when they showed her. She was working on that takedown defense, stuffing those takedowns, finding a way to circle out of those positions, especially against the cage.
Yeah, that's where Budd likes to get a lot of her takedowns. I think it's smart for Jindrová to really show a lot of good circular movement here, trying to dominate the center of the cage.
They traded a leg kick from Budd for a right hand from Jindrová there, which is often the counter to that naked low kick. Take a listen inside the blue corner of Martina Jindrová.
Bravo. Attack. Let's go. 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. Bravo. Bravo. 3-2. Let's go. 3-2. 1-3. 1-3-2. 1-3-2. Martina, 1-3-2. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Calling for the 1-3-2 and the 3-2. They want Martina Jindrová to lead with that left hand, and that was a nasty right. Julia Budd on skates temporarily here.
Budd's in trouble. Can she recover?
Can Martina Jindrová capitalize on the right hand that finished the combination? Budd appears to be recovered here. She unleashes a couple knees of her own and grabs his plum.
Yeah, Jindrová's got to break that tie clinch and go right back to work. Julia Budd, with her experience, did a good job of tying Jindrová up, buying herself some more time. She's breathing, trying to get her wits back.
Back to the center of the smart cage. See if Martina Jindrová can dial in the range on that right hand again. Randy, what does Julia Budd need to do to get this fight to the ground?
She needs to anticipate the jab or that right hand from Jindrová and use that to level change, get under that punch, and get to that body. Try and find a way to put this fight on the ground.
You can see the left hand now twice in a row here for Martina Jindrová finding its target.
Julia Budd landed a nice right hand there as well.
There's another.
She needs to take control of this fight. Jindrová looking very sharp with her boxing right now.
And the kinetic footwork from Jindrová is making her very difficult to get a beat on and take down, to get to that body, to get in on those legs.
Absolutely agree with that, Randy. Jindrová showing excellent movement here, staying sharp, staying defensively responsible as well, and it's throwing Julia Budd off for sure.
There was again that least favorite of all mixed martial arts phrases from Kenny Florian, defensively responsible. I don't like it.
I'm surprised you could even utter that phrase, Sean.
Only in a quote, Randy. Chance of Martina from the crowd here. A sizable Czech contingent, it would appear, by the flags waving in the upper deck at Overtime Elite Arena.
Yeah, both ladies have kind of slowed down in the volume department here. There's another one of those exchanges. Leg kick for the overhand right from Jindrová.
Not typically an even trade, in my opinion, but I guess that depends on the power of the kick.
Jindrová doing a great job of sticking and moving, guys.
Yeah, and as a kickboxer, Jindrová's used to getting kicked all the time, so
yep,
it's probably a trade she's willing to make a lot.
Final 10 seconds of a really interesting first round here. We'll see the second frame here.
You gotta go here. You ready? Go. You ready?
Martina Jindrová in the gray, Julia Budd in the purple. You can see the live odds in Martina Jindrová's favor, and we bring in our betting expert, Ian Parker.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Sean. You know, in the beginning, we actually leaned towards Jindrová by decision. I think she's winning this fight. That first round, her striking was there. She was leading the dance. Julia Budd talked about coming out of a cannon. She's throwing punches very slow. She's not really moving forward. If this fight stays on the feet, Martina Jindrová at -140, I like it. Even at -160, I would still do it. I think she's going to win every single round as long as she stays to the game plan, to the course. I like her to win this fight.
Dan Hardy, do you agree with that assessment?
Absolutely, I do. I think this is a really smart game plan for Jindrová. She's staying on the outside. She's using her kickboxing experience to try and pick her opponent off. And honestly, Julia Budd needs to not stand her ground so much and try and draw her opponent in so she can get those takedowns a little easier. Now she's up against the fence. We might see the fight swing in the opposite direction. But definitely first round for Jindrová.
And this is where Julia Budd wants to be. Physically imposing. She's very strong. She's got the body lock here. But Randy, you made the point in the first round. This is what Martina Jindrová has been working on as soon as she found out about this matchup. Even backstage as she was warming up, this is the position she was in.
This is exactly where she was at in her warm-up, and you know she spent a lot of her camp in this spot right here. This is worst case scenario when you're facing somebody like Julia Budd. If she gets this fight to the ground, not only is she going to control you, but she might find a way to finish you from the ground fighting perspective.
Take a look through the referee cam there. Martina Jindrová trying to create a stalemate here. Budd going to work with some knees to the body.
Julie's got to pull Jindrová off the cage, look for an angle, and then look for that outside trip or body lock takedown. Jindrová doing a good job of staying heavy on those overhooks.
Jindrová's trying to find the space to re-pummel. Julia Budd doing a great job of keeping head position, staying in tight on that body. She's having trouble finding a way to get to a trip and put this fight on the ground. But Jindrová has got to find a way to re-pummel, circle that underhook, and get some space between Julia Budd and those hips.
Round two is halfway gone as you see Marina Malknatkina down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. She's currently second place in the standings. Her bout against Evelyn Martins still to come right here on ESPN+. Back to the center of the smart cage with 2 minutes to go in the second frame.
The right hand has been the best punch for Julia Budd so far. It hasn't been successful so far when she does get to the clinch against Jindrová. Jindrová definitely did her homework in preparation for this fight.
So Martina Jindrová there with a little look-off feint. Throws the feet of Julia Budd and then went left-right.
I like that little 1-5 combination she threw there, that little uppercut, because Budd is ducking a little as she tries to enter. She could land that uppercut.
Dan Hardy, we saw that Martina Jindrová jab land again.
Yeah, you know, she's doing really well counter-striking. I feel like that clinch may have sapped some of her energy, maybe some of those knees to the midsection, because all of a sudden she's gone flat and she's trying to counter-strike as Julia Budd's pressuring forward, which is only going to end her up against the fence dealing with takedowns if she doesn't get that movement back that she had in the first round.
Yeah, Dan, absolutely agree. And this is kind of going back to one of the keys is being efficient. She's good at getting the clinch. Sometimes she wastes a little bit too much energy in there and gets tired out in the process. And I think that's what's happening here in round 2, Dan.
Yeah, you saw her when she got out of that clinch, she shook her arms and got the blood flowing back in there. But definitely to spend some energy there.
Yeah. Oh, nice 1-2 there from Jindrová.
There's a 10-second warning here for the second round. The final seconds tick away. Round 3 ahead. Coming up later tonight at Overtime Elite Arena. Round 3 in women's featherweight regular season action. Julia Budd in the purple, Martina Jindrová in the gray. See the live odds now still in Martina Jindrová's favor, although that number has moved to make it closer to a pick'em, interestingly enough.
Yeah, and I think Julia Budd really needs a finish here. Jindrová has been in control. And I thought last round was much closer than round 1, but Julia Budd hasn't had a lot of success when the fight goes to decision. If you look at her last 3 fights, so needs to really get to work here. Oh, nice overhand right from Julia Budd. That's been her best punch. But Jindrová right back with that jab.
Here's the entry that Julia Budd needed. She's under the hips, hands locked. Can't get the lift, at least for now. Martina Jindrová clearly been working on the takedown deep.
Jindrová using that whizzer, that overhook to pull Budd up, back up to chest-to-chest position, get her off those hips.
And that's what Julia needs to do. She needs to mix in those strikes, try to off-balance, or get Jindrová to respond to those strikes where she can get her off balance and finish one of these takedowns.
Take a look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen and look who's in the building at OTE. Francis Ngannou, recently signed Professional Fighters League heavyweight. The hardest hitting man on planet Earth is right here in the building beside the PFL Smart King.
And the chairman of PFL Africa.
Live odds now switching in the favor of Julia Budd. Budd pressing Martina Jindrová against a smart cage barrier. Yet to complete a takedown in this fight.
I want to double on top and I want to finish.
I like to see Jindrová repummel with that right arm. She keeps switching her hips the other way. Now she can do it with her left arm. Repummel and then circle towards that underhook to get chest to chest. There, she's got it. Circle towards it. Should be able to find her way out.
Yeah, let's see if Jindrová can just change her level a little bit, get that shoulder a little bit lower than Budd's. But Julia is so strong in that position.
Round 3 halfway gone. Julia Budd continues to work with the knees to the legs and midsection. Martina Jindrová trying to find a way to winnow out of this position.
Budd switching to the high single. Want to capture the hip of Martina Jindrová and pick her up off of her feet. Jindrová using, nice, found her way out.
Back to the center of the smart cage. With 2 minutes to work for both of these women to try and earn a finish and the bonus point that comes with it in the third frame. Kenny, are you surprised to see that the live odds have swung in the favor of Julia Budd?
I have, definitely. I think she's doing a good job of getting cage control there, but not really landing enough, in my mind, to steal this fight. I thought rounds 1 and 2 probably went to Jindrová. Round 1 for sure. Julia Budd doing much better here in round 3, but needs to get a lot more going here.
I agree with that, Kenny. I think she got to the clinch twice, both in round 2 and in round 3, but really was ineffective at doing anything with that position, other than control where the fight was happening.
Right. Oh, nice overhand right.
As you mentioned, Kenny, that has been the best strike technique for Julia Budd all fight long.
Yeah, Julia finding a lot more success here in round 3. Got off to a little bit of a slow start in this one, but that right hand starting to find her mark more. She's throwing with more volume. And Jindrová has slowed down a little bit with her strikes.
Final 10 seconds of this fight. Left hook landed at the end of that combination for Martina Jindrová. And there's the final bell.
After 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. All 3 judges scored about 29-28. For your winner, by unanimous decision, Julia Budd!
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner for the Celsius post-fight interview. Tell me about that fight. That was a very tough back and forth, a rough first round. You had to regroup. What was your thought process for the scorecards there?
I knew I won the second and third, but I was pretty hurt in the first round. She caught me good, and I just had to like refocus, reset, and then go for it in the second and third.
Is that wisdom and experience that helps you make that adjustment?
Yeah, for sure. But then I feel like I was starting to get I got back in the third round. I started feeling like my hands were landing. And, but I mean, she's a really tough opponent. I knew what a good kickboxer she was. And I worked really hard for this though, so I pushed through.
It was a great performance. You got your 3 points. Go and enjoy the Bud Light Lounge, and I'll see you in a little while. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Julia Budd.